Hey everybody, this is Dave coming to you from the Gaming Cave. Today we're going to do a playthrough of Fast Action Racing from Downey Games. And I actually saw Greg Amos playing it on Vassal on YouTube. And I subscribed to him. So I thought, man, that looks pretty cool. Because I do the red, white, and blue NASCAR racing. So I went in and looked, and they do two forms of racing. They do stock car, and they do open wheel, US open wheel. So IndyCar is what I always call them. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to run a season of IndyCar, 1978. And I chose this. This was before I got really interested in NASCAR, and I was big into IndyCar then. So living in Indiana, following the Indianapolis 500, going up, seeing the time trials, all that good stuff. Okay, so the game is, it's like there's no moving parts too much. There's a few every once in a while, but there's not a lot. The field you're not pushing cars around a track. This game is designed to run kind of a simulation of, you have to think about the race is going on, and there's going to be things like mechanical problems. There's green flag racing. There's penalties and pit stops. There's pit stops. There's cautions. There's wrecks. There's all kinds of stuff that happens, and it's going to affect different drivers. And then finally, you get to the end of the race. You have the last challenge for the winner, and the race is over. And then we go through and we put everybody in the order that they finish. Okay, so the game, when I read, they really designed it around stock cars. This grid holds 36 cards. It's 6x6. So it holds 36. So you're saying, oh, NASCAR is 43. That ain't going to work. Well, they have a provision for that. And you put 7 up here that would be off board if you were running the NASCAR. For me, I'm running the Indy cars. And there's no race that uses 36 that I know of. Pocono, they actually ran 34 when I looked them up. A lot of races are going to run 22, 20, 22, 24, somewhere near 25. Okay, well, so what you're going to get to see in this video is, how do you deal with a grid that's not completely full? All right. The other thing I did was, I did my research, and I pulled up it was CART back then, Championship Auto Racing Teams, I think is what the T stands for the U.S. And they were associated also with USAC. So they had a point system, and it is complex a little bit. Not horrible, but you got to have it, because they base their points on the length of the race. So a 100-mile race got so many points, a 150-mile race, a 200, a 300, just like that, right? All the way up to 500. So depending on the length of the race is going to be the points you get on the position. So the bigger races, the 500 milers, you earn more points. So they're going to be there. Then the last thing was, I wanted to know which drivers, because if you look at this card, here's Tom Bagley. If you look at this card, there were 18 races in the season. He raced in 17. Okay. So that means that he didn't run every race. Al Unser, he ran in 16 of them. Wally Dallenbach, he ran in all of them. Chris Kristoloff, 17. Surely I got somebody here Bobby Olivero, he raced in 4. Okay. So what I did was, I went and looked up how many people ran the race. Well, for the first race of the season is at Phoenix. There were 22. So I have the actual 22 drivers that raced there. So I didn't just randomly draw 22. I went, looked up, and pulled the cards of the 22 that raced there. We're racing at Phoenix. It's a 1-mile track. The race was 150 laps, so 150 miles. We'll go through qualifying here, and then last event highlight tables, last highlight event table. So when we get towards the end of the race, these are things that can start happening. And then the passing matrix So this race is the first race of the season, 1978, March 18th. So we're going to place our cars here pretty soon. And unfortunately, part of the game is riding. So you're going to have to put up with my sloppy riding a little bit. And as I fill out this score sheet that keeps track of race leaders, how many points they score, all those things for leading laps. And then anything that happens to a driver as we go. So I'll be filling that out as we go. I haven't figured out where I want to lay that. I may end up laying it over here on the right-hand side, being I'm right-handed. So we have that. I also have this sheet is for the 78 open wheel season. And so at the end of the race, we'll determine how many caution flags actually came out during the race. And then this is the race schedule. So you can see there's 18 here. And then if we have anybody retire or have trouble, we can also make a note of what that was. Okay. The last thing is rules for fields with less than 36 drivers. So this tells me what they say is you shouldn't run anything with less than 18 because the mechanics of the game don't work as well when there's less than 18. You can have 19, you can have 36, you can have 43. Doesn't matter. But you can't have less than 18, which we're good for. So it tells me on the first 18 drivers where to put them. Then the next one's up to 22, so we start filling it in, and it goes on just like that. Okay? All the way up to when you put in all 36 drivers. And then, like I said, if you was running NASCAR and there's 43 cars, you put the other 7 up here, and we would deal with them. But we don't have to deal with that today. The way the priorities on this game work, you'll have a target card, and we'll show this during the game. You have a target card, and then you have a priority, and the priorities are adjacent cards. So the first priority is at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. The diagonals do not count. And if there's a blank space, you move up to the next blank above it. So if this was empty, like you'll see on my race, then you go up that far up, but you still don't go to the diagonals. Okay? All right, so here's my 22 drivers. Oh, and I'll just show you one other thing I did. This was strictly me, just because, I don't know, I wanted to have a little fun with it. This is the way the cards come. You can see they're all white. All the cards are the same. The car numbers out here on the right. And then these are the ratings. So this is green flag. This is contact, trouble. This is mechanical, and these are your pit stops. So these are the ratings we'll be using for the race. This is his qualifying numbers. Okay. So you can see all the cars were white. There was no differentiation. Whereas if you're running some of the NASCAR, they at least have their rooftops colored different colors. So you get a little differentiation with them, but I didn't with the Indy cars. So I spent my evening looking up cars and kind of matching up some of the color schemes. Don't be busting on me about my coloring skills either, please. All right, some of them I couldn't find them, so I just left them white. Other ones you can see I put in some of the color schemes here. Some cars were white. It didn't have much color on them. Okay, so anyway, that's what I did. I just wanted to show you. So we got 22 cards right here. We're going to give them a quick little shuffle. We're going to get our sheet out, and let's place the field, because this is how we get started. And the grid runs from the bottom left, that's 11. It goes vertical, comes back down, goes vertical, just like that, all the way up to 66 in the top right. All right, here we go. Ready? One more. Here we go. Okay. Roger McCluskey. He goes in spot number 11. Steve Krisiloff goes in 13. And Tom Bigelow goes in 15. Okay, the next guy, Gary Bettenhausen, he's in 22. Bobby Unser's in 24. And Bobby Olivero is in 26. All right, Sheldon Kinzer goes in 31. Johnny Rutherford's in 33. Al Unser in 35. Cliff Huckle, 42. Gordon Johncock, 44. Jerry Carl, 46. A.J. Foyt, 51. Rick Mears, 53. Wally Dallenbach, 55. Salt Walther, oops, car under him. Salt's in 62. Tom Sneva's in 64. And Spike Gelhausen is in 66. And then now we go to the next group. So the first car goes in space 16. That's Dick Simon. Next one goes in 21. Danny Ongaias. The next one goes in 32. Larry Dixon. And Tom Bagley is my last car. And he goes in 45. Right here. Okay. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 16, 18, 20, 22. There we go. We got all the cars there. That's all we needed for that. Our racetrack is set up. I'm going to bring my notepad over here so I can write, and I'll just kind of show you what we're doing as we go along. And then they give us, so let me say this too before I get into the race. I bought this as an ebook, okay? So I print and played it. The cost for both of these was less than $30 for the base game, which comes with short tracks and legends of short tracks. So you got all kinds of guys. You got sprint car drivers, Indy car drivers, stock car drivers. They're all in there. So you get like 36 drivers, I think, for that. So it fills up the grid. It's the base game. It's all short track racing. Okay. Then you can add on all kinds. NASCAR, open wheels. You can add on the best of a decade, or you can buy specific seasons. So I like this specific season. I was looking for something around 78, 79, so I got 78. That's what was available. And you get things like these markers that we're going to use. This was there's 4 groups of those, as you can see, but I've already cut out one section of them because so far I haven't had to use more than that. But if I start to get into where I need more, I'll just have to cut some more out. Most that we're going to use are the green lapped cars when they get lapped. Okay. All right. Well, the first thing we do is we determine our pole sitter. Okay, I do have my rules up on my computer screen behind me, so periodically I may have to go over there and check something out, make sure that I didn't mess anything up. Okay, the first thing we do, I'm using red and white die. The red die is the 10 digit, the white die is the white digit. I also use the black die when we're only using the total of the die, so that would be like 6. Okay. So here we go, we roll, this is determine the pole sitter, and we get 43. Okay, so what we're looking for on these guys is a number that is, here's Al Unser, his is 31 to 32. I'm looking for somebody that has 43. So 11 to 26, 33, 34, boom. 35, 36, 41 to 61. Here we go. There we go. Danny Ongaias has it. So Danny Ongaias gets the pole. So we write him on the sheet. I'll leave it on the table. I can write better. So we put Ongaias, and he's our pole sitter. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll. Or no, we're not. We're going to take our track card, which is 136 miles per hour. And Ongaias has this is what we add to that for his qualifying speed. So 136 plus 8 is 144.721. So 144.721 is his qualifying pace. Okay. And the first thing we're going to do now is going to be a challenge. So the very first thing we do is find out if he can make the first, if he's going to get the lead on the first lap. Okay. So on Gaius, in this one, we use his green rating, which is 9. But because it's the only time we do it in the whole game, we get to add 1 to him because he's the pole sitter. So that's the only time he gets this advantage. So now we're rolling to see who the first challenger is. And here we go. This is a 53. So we go to spot 53, which happens to be Rick Mears. And Rick Mears is going to challenge him. So Rick is an 11. And on Gaius is a 9. So we're going to write our challenger here, Mears. And we take the difference. So Mears, 11, and on Gaius is a 9, makes him, he's a +1 now. And we look at this matrix, and 0 is 7 to 12. So Mears can get him on a roll of 6 to 12. So we put in here the rating. He's a +1. Oh no, sorry, he's an 11. He gets a difference of +1. Okay, so now we roll the black dice. And so our target is 6 to 12. I'm going to show you all this in here in a minute where I write it. So we roll, and he gets 8. 8 is in the range of 6 to 12. So he passes, and Mears gets the lead on the first lap. Okay, so on Gaius, qualified 144.721 miles an hour. We did the first challenge. It's Rick Mears. His rating was an 11. On Gaius was a 9, but it went up by 1, so 10. So he's a +1, which means 6 to 12 is what he needed. He rolled an 8. Oh, let's come down a little bit. He rolled an 8. He passed the outcome. He becomes the leader, and he's going to get 1 point for that lead right there. Okay, so Mears is leading now. At the end of the race, I'll show you, I've got a spreadsheet. I had started mine. I asked Greg if he would send me his. He's gracious enough to do that. And I've taken the two and kind of built me one for my open wheel racing that's a little different from what he was doing with the stock car. But I think the basics are going to work pretty much the same, and some of it's exactly the same. Okay, so Mears made his challenge. So now we got to roll to see any drivers are going to have mechanical problems. All right, so what we do, and you notice nothing changed on the board. It all stays the same. So now we're rolling, and this is 11. All right, Roger McCluskey. So he's going to roll now. So he's my first driver on the board. So McCluskey. And mechanical issues are +1. And his mechanical is a 2. So that's going to make his a 3. So we'll put his rating in. It's a 3. Okay, now we list the other 4 drivers in the order we go clockwise, starting at 12 o'clock. Steve Krisaloff. So Krisaloff is going to have to check to see if he has problems. And his rating is 8, which makes that 9. Then the next guy, adjacent to him, remember we don't do diagonal, Danny Gaius. So our pole sitter, we have to check him. He's a 5, makes him 6. Okay, now you're going, well, what do you do down here in the corner? Well, the bottom, see what it said? There's a little number, you probably can't see it, all along the edges here that says what's on the other side. Number 16. So number 16 is here. And that is Dick Simon. So we write Simon on our sheet. And his is going to be a 7. And then the last guy is going to be over here at 9 o'clock, which is AJ Foyt. So we're going to find out if any of these guys go out. Foyt's a 7, which makes him an 8. Now I got to check. If we are equal to is higher. Okay, so what you want to be is lower than your number. So you can see McCluskey's going to have a really good roll to not have a problem here. If it's got to be low, he's got to roll a 2. If he gets a 3, he's going to get lapped, and if he rolls a number higher than that, he will be forced to retire from the race. Okay, so here we go. We're going to, not the red and white die. Now we use the black die. So we start with McCluskey. He's a 2. We elevated that to 3. They have less breakdowns on this track. He gets a 7. McCluskey is out of the race. Okay, so he rolls a 7. He failed. And we're going to find out what he failed from. So he's going to take a mechanical retirement. So we're going to roll. And he gets a 6. He had an engine failure. So right out of the gate, engine failure. Okay, and McCluskey is actually out of the race now. And we'll put him up here. He'll be the last place car. Okay, it creates another gap in here. If we had 43 cars, we would take the top car off of here and move him into that spot. Okay, next guy up, Krisaloff. He's at a 9. He gets 7. He's safe. Okay, so he rolls a 7. Pass. Okay, next up is Ongaius. Ongaius is a 5. We raised him up to a 6. He got 10. Ongaius is out of the race. Okay, let's see what he's out for. So he rolled a 10. Failed. And he's out for 7. And a 7 is another engine failure. So that's 2 engine failures now. Okay, he's out. He'll be on top. He'll be the next guy after McCluskey. All right, next guy, Dick Simon. He's a 7. So this is Dick Simon up here. He gets 4. He's safe. He passes. 4. Pass. And then Foyt, he's an 8. He's over here. Foyt gets 6. He's okay. Pass. The leader doesn't change, so it's still Mears. He earns another half point. Okay, so all these, we put their ratings, and then we put the roll, and we said what happened to them. So we had engine failure and an engine failure. 2 cars are out of the race now. The field's down to 20, and Mears still leads the pack. But now we're getting ready for our next challenge. So here comes the challenge. It's going to be from car number 53. Rick Mears, can't be him. Can't challenge himself. That's odd. Okay. And I'm just going to look real quick, make sure what happens if you re-roll or if I use something from there. Pretty sure we just re-roll. We can't. I know we can't use Mears again, so we'll re-roll. It's a 31. So 31 is here, Sheldon Kinzer. So Kinzer wants to try to pass on Mears. Okay. So what happens is Kinzer is a 4. Mears is an 11. So the difference is -7. Anything -5 is an automatic failed. Anything below, greater than that, he becomes lapped. Okay. So Kinzer has a difference of -7. And he's now the first car lapped. So we put a lapped car on him. So we have this little thing right here, and we stick that right on his car. Now he's lapped. And Mears is still in the lead. Okay, now we're going to go to green flag racing. So here we roll, we get the target car, and then we take the next 4 cars around it. So we're going to have 5 cars that are going to challenge Mears. So we start with the red and white die, and we get 15. So car number 15 is Tom Bigelow. All right. So Bigelow is the first car that's going to challenge. Bigelow. Followed by Dick Simon. That's the car above him. So Dick Simon. The car to the right is Al Unser. We'll put Al Unser. The car below him, Krisiloff. And the car over here is Dallenbach. Okay, now, the first car to go is Bigelow. He's a 7. Mears is an 11. He's a -4 rating. And on the card, -4 is 11 to 12. So 11 to 12 is what he needs to roll. Anything else, no pass. He gets 5. He rolls a 5. He fails. Mears is still leading. Okay, Dick Simon, he's a 4. Mears is an 11. That's the good old -7. He just got lapped. So we put a green lap marker onto Dick Simon. So we go lapped right there onto Simon. Okay. Next guy is Al Unser. Al's a 9. Mears is an 11. So that makes him -2. -2 is 9 to 12. 9 to 12 for his roll. Here we go. It is 7. So he failed. Failed. It's still Mears. Mears is running them off right now. Okay, after Al Unser, it's Krisiloff. So Steve Krisiloff, he's a 10. Mears is an 11, so it's a -1. So it's 8 to 12. 8 to 12. 8. He passed him. So he rolled an 8. He gets the pass. He becomes the new leader. So that's our first lead change since the start of the race. Okay. The last guy is Dallenbach. And Dallenbach is a 10. And Krisiloff's a 10. So the difference is 0. So yeah, he's going against the new leader. And that makes this a 7 to 12. So it's a 50-50 chance that he can get past him. Here we go. He gets 7. He got him. So he passes, and the new leader is now Dallenbach. Okay. So here's my sheet. Mears has been leading. You can see I've got everybody listed, all their differences, what they need to roll, except for the automatic lapped. So Simon's been lapped. So it's 2 cars lapped already in the field and 2 cars out of the race. Wally Dallenbach's our new leader. And now we're going to have green flag pit stops. Okay, so again, we're going to roll. And what we do is this blue number is their pit stop number. So we're going to pick out the group that's going to go against the leader, and they will challenge against the leader's pit stop number. So this is where Dallenbach's number is a 10. So he's strong in the pits. All right, so let's see. This is going to be 26. So 26 is Olivero. So he's the first guy. 12 o'clock to him is Bettenhausen. Bettenhausen. 3 o'clock is Jerry Carl. 6 o'clock, Bob Yunter. And the last guy is Dick Simon. Now, yeah, Simon has a lap on him. What this means is, if he wins the challenge, he gets to take the lap marker off of him. So it's pretty big for Simon to get back on the lead lap. This is how he does it. All right, so Olivero, he's a 9. Dallenbach's a 10. So it's a -1, which makes it 8 to 12 to see if he gets the lead. So here we go. Bobby Olivero, he rolls 6. He failed. It's a fail. Dallenbach stays in the lead. Okay, next guy is Bettenhausen. He's a 6. He's a 10, so that's a -4. And a -4, I believe, was 11 to 12. So it's going to have to be a pretty good roll for Gary Bettenhausen to get in the lead. He gets an 8. Okay, he rolls an 8. Fail. Dallenbach stays in the lead. Okay, next guy, Jerry Carl. Jerry Carl, he's a 7. Dallenbach's a 10. It's a -3. So it's 10 to 12 for his roll. Here we go, 10 to 12. He gets 4. He fails. Dallenbach is still in the lead. Next guy is Bobby Unser. Bobby Unser's a 7. Dallenbach's a 10. It's another -3. 10 to 12. He gets 7. Failed. Dallenbach still leading. Okay, and the last guy is Dick Simon. He's a 7. Dallenbach's a 10. That's another -3. 10 to 12. It's tough to get on top of Dallenbach coming out of the pits. He gets a 9. Oh, he just missed getting his lap back. 9. Failed. Dallenbach is still the leader. Okay. Now we're going to do penalties. All right. Okay, this penalties determines pit road violations. So again, we're going to roll and see who's the target group. 64, Tom Sneva. So Sneva goes on first. The next guy above him, Gelhausen. The guy to the right of him is Bobby Unser. Below him, Salt Walther. And to the left, John Cock. All right. We use the pit rating again. Right. Equal to or lower, no violation. So here we go with Sneva. He's a 9. He rolls 5. He's a pass. No challenge for the lead. Next guy is Gelhausen. He's a 3. He gets 9. So Gelhausen fails. When you fail this, you're penalized and you go a lap down. So we got black flagged, had to come in, do a drive-through, lost a lap. All right, next guy, Bobby Unser. He's over here, he's a 7. He got 11. Bobby Unser goes a lap down. He failed. And I think I could even check. Yeah, we should do this. Check for pit trouble. So let's see why. Put a lap down on Bobby so I don't forget. Let's see why Gelhausen, what he did to cause his pit failure. He gets an 11 on his pit trouble. Oh, 1 die. He gets a 1. He had a fire in the pit. And Unser, who failed, oh, he had the same problem. So back in the day, this was fairly common. If you ever go back, if you were a fan back in the day, that's why they spray the water, because they couldn't see the fuel burning, and it caught on fire in the pits when they spilled it. Okay, Salt Walther, he needs a 7 or less. 11, he failed his. Wow. So he's going to be a let down. So we're getting some decent drivers having some pit problems here today. All right, let's see what he failed for. He got a 6 on his fail. He had a pit crew error. Pit crew error. Okay, and the last guy is Gordon Johncock. He's a 9. He gets 8. He made it. All right. So he passed. 8 passed. Okay, now we're going to have a challenge. Pits are over. Penalties are over. Everybody served their time. We got 1, 2, 3. We have 5 cars lapped right now. Let's see who's going to challenge. That should have rolled it down the thing. Here we go. It's a 35. Al Unser is going to challenge. All right. Al Unser. And he is challenging Dallenbach. Dallenbach's a 10. Unser's a 9. So Unser's a -1. So that's going to be 8 to 12. So here he goes. 8 to 12. He gets 6. He failed. And Dallenbach is still the leader. We haven't had many, we've only had really 2 leaders, 1 lead change and 2 leaders. Okay, we're going to have another challenge. So here's where we're at on the sheet. So we just finished green flag pit stops, penalties, 2 fires and a pit crew error. Unser challenge for the lead, but he couldn't get around Dallenbach. We're going to have another challenge, and we're going into contact and yellow flag pit stops. We're going to see what happens there. So here comes the challenge. The challenge is 44. Hey, that's John Cock. All right. So Gordon John Cock. He is a 10. Dallenbach's a 10. So that's a 7 to 12. That's about Pretty good chance for Gordon to see if he can get in the lead. He gets 7. He got it. He passes, and he's the new leader. Gordon Johncock. All right. Now we're getting ready for contact. So in this one, we have to be higher. And then if we're equal, they get a yellow lapped, and if they're higher or lower, they get a red lap. Now, for contact, we add 1 to everybody's rating. Okay, so we picked the target group. And the target group, here we go, is going to be 21. Here, so we look at the best rating for this right here would be 2, 2, 2. Oh, 2, 2, 2. And over here is a 5. And we want to be above that rating, right? Yes, so the 2s have it. So the guy we're working off of is Bettenhausen. He's got the best rating to come out ahead of them. Okay, his rating is a 2, but it's +1, so it makes it a 3. Okay, above him, Bobby Unser. And Bobby is a 2, makes him a 3. To the right is Dixon. He's a 2, makes him a 3. Below Bettenhausen is Olivero. He's a 2, which makes him a 3. And to the left of Bettenhausen is Saltwalther. And he's a 2, which makes him a 3. Wow. So unless we get some really bad rolls, these guys aren't going to have any trouble here. Okay, here we go with Bettenhausen. He's a 3. He gets a 6. He passes. He's okay. Next one, Bobby Unser. He's a 3. He gets a 9. He passes. Here comes Dixon. He's a 3. He gets a 12. He passes. Olivero, he's a 3. Gets a 7. He passes. And Saltwalther, he's a 3. Oh man, he got a 3. He fails. He got something happened to him. Let's see. Equal to, he's been collected. His car suffered repairable damage. And he gets the yellow lapped on him. Okay. So I'll get my little yellow one. And that was on Saltwalther. So he already had a green, so the green comes off and it goes yellow now. Okay. So he failed, and this was trouble. Late race trouble. But it was contact. It really wasn't. It wasn't a mechanical issue. So he just got in a wreck. But they could fix his car. So he comes out. Okay, the next one's going to be a pit stop under caution. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I believe we take the race leader, which is John Cock. I'll show you where I'm at. So we just did contact. All these guys were 3s. The one guy that matched 3 was Walther. So he got yellow lapped. I'm going to put a Y lapped on him. So it's a yellow on that one. Okay, now we go into the pit crews again. So the race leader and adjacent cars plus 1 random. So they're all going against the race leader. And the adjacent cars to the race leader, well, John Cock is there. So it's going to be Bagley. It's going to be Sneva. Below him, Huckel. To the left, Bobby Unser. And then we have 1 random. And it is 46. 44, 45, 46, Jerry Carl. Okay. So these guys are going up against Gordon John Cock. So they're going up against the pit rating. So John Cock is a 9. So the first guy is Bagley. He's a 6, so he's -3. -3 is 10 to 12. 10 to 12, he rolls, he gets 7. He failed. Okay, next guy, Sneva. Sneva's a 9, John Cock's a 9, we're even up. 7 to 12. Here we go, 7 to 12, it's a 4. Sneva had a chance, but he couldn't do it. Coming out of the pits. Huckel, he's a 9. So it's 0, 7 to 12. Cliff Huckel gets 10. He passes him. He's the new leader so far. Next up is Bobby Unser. Bobby Unser's a 7. Huckel's a 9. He's -2. 9 to 12. Unser rolls. He gets 5. He failed. Next is Carl. Carl's a 7. Huckel's a 9. He's a -2. 9 to 12. Here we go. He gets 7. He failed. So our new leader is Huckel. Okay. He comes out of the pit stops under caution leading. So now we got a challenger again. Here's where we're at. So now we have one last challenger, and then we go into the special closing lap action. We'll see what happens there. So here comes the challenge. It's going to be 15. Bigelow. So Bigelow's making a charge here. Trying to anyway. Bigelow is a 7. Huckel is a 4. Bigelow's a +3. A +3 is 4 to 12. He's got a pretty good shot at this. He rolls a 9. He passes. Bigelow becomes the new leader. Okay, now we go into the closing action. So the first thing we're going to have, we're going to roll see if we have a mechanical issue. If we do, we roll it against the leader to see what happens. Then we'll have a challenge. Then we're going to have contact to see if there's any contact. Depending on what happens, depending on whether we have a green flag pit stop or a yellow flag pit stop. Green in the final challenge. Okay, so we're going to roll for the mechanical is 7 to 12. We note that 7 to 12. We're going to roll and see if we have a problem. It's a 5. We do not. So nothing happens there. Bigelow still leading. Now we have a challenge. Here we go. The challenge is 51. 51 is Foyt. So Foyt's making a challenge. Foyt is a 9 and Bigelow is a 7. Foyt's a +2 on this challenge, which makes him 5 to 12. 5 to 12. And Foyt rolls 6. He got him. AJ Foyt just became the new race leader. All right. Now, contact. Our contact number for Phoenix is 8 to 12. Okay. So we'll make a note of that. 8 to 12. We'll see if we have contact. 11. We do. Okay. So, contact is 8 to 12. We rolled an 11. So we're going to have Foyt, the race leader, the adjacent cars, and one random driver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 cars right here. Okay, so we list Foyt with AJ above him is Mears. To the right is Kinzer. Below him is Dallenbach. We got some big names in here in this pack. And to the left, went back to Kinzer. So it'll have to be, let's see, this is contact. These guys, 2, 2, 2, 2, even diagonally. We got them all the way across. This is what happens when you lose one of these cars. It messes up everything. I think we go Walther. And I said that because everybody's a 2 around him, all the way around. So he would be clockwise up. So it would be Salt Walther. If I'm wrong, somebody will tell me. And then we pick one random driver. And it is 56 to 556. So the highest rated guy there, Dallenbach's already out. Gelhausen, Carl, Foyt's already in it. So it'll be Gelhausen. All right. So here we go. Foyt's got to take his first on this one. We have to be, sorry, I gotta look, make sure I get it right. Higher than the die result, he avoids the trouble. Okay, so we want to be higher. Foyt, he's a 5, and contact makes him a 6. Well, let's write all these down. Foyt's a 6. Mears is a 7, makes him an 8. Kinzer is a 2, makes him a 3. Dallenbach is a 2, makes him a 3. Walther is a 2, makes him a 3. And Gelhausen is a 2, makes him a 3. Okay, here we go. Foyt's got to be higher than 6. Oh, he got a 6. He failed. And to fail on this one, he gets the green lap. Okay, so Foyt, he got in trouble. And he gets a lapped marker on him. Failed. Lapped. Okay. Next guy is going to be Mears. He's an 8. He gets 10. He passed. Mears passed. Next guy is going to be Kinzer. He's a 2, which is a 3. Whoops. Try it again. He gets a 9. He passes. Dallenbach, he's a 3. 9. He passes. Walther, this could be bad for him. Ah, daggone it. He's a 3. 10. He passes. And Gelhausen, he's a 3. He got a 12. He passes. All right. I just got to check and see who comes out of that as the leader. So give me a minute here. All right, we're going to see Foyt had trouble. It's a late race trouble. His trouble was a 1. He had fuel. Oh, that's why he went a lap down. Fuel. He ran out of fuel. He ran out of gas. So they had to bring him in. Now, we go with the highest rated guy next to him because he was the leader. Mears is an 11. Kinzer's a 4. Dallenbach's a 10. So Mears becomes the new leader. So Mears is back in the lead. And now, because we had a failure, we do pit stops under caution. Okay. So we roll for this one. Pit stops under caution. And our target is going to be 34. He's not there. He's a 9, 9, 9, 7. So we'll start with Al Unser. Al Unser against Mears. The guy next to him is Kinzer. To the right is Bagley. Below him, Rutherford. And to the left, Bigelow. Okay. So they're going against Mears. Mears' pit stop number is an 8. We start with Al Unser. He's a 9, so Al's a +1. Makes him 6 to 12 on this roll. So here we go. 6 to 12. Al Unser gets 9. He passed him. He takes the lead. Next guy up is Kinzer. He's an 8. Going against Unser, he's a 9. He's a -1. Makes him 8 to 12. Kinzer's rolling. He gets a 7. He does not get it. He failed. Okay. Next guy's Bagley. Bagley's a 6 against Unser. He's a 9. He's a -3, which is 10 to 12. He rolls 10 to 12. He gets 4. Failed. Next guy's Rutherford. Rutherford's a 9. Unser's a 9. We're even up at 7 to 12. Johnny Rutherford's trying to edge him out. Oh, he gets an 11. He did it. He passes. He's the new leader so far. Now we got Bigelow. Bigelow's a 9. Rutherford's a 9. It's a 0. 7 to 12. Coming out of the pits. He gets 9. He takes the lead. So the leader is Bigelow. Al Unser thought he had the lead. And now we have a challenge. And the challenge is 54. So the highest rated car, Dallenbach, Sneva, 10-10, Mears, 11, John Cock, 10. It's going to be Mears. Mears is coming after him again here towards the end of the race. All right, Mears is an 11. Bigelow's a 7. Woo, Mears is a +4 on that one, which is 3-12. Unless he rolls snake eyes, he's going to get him. It is snake eyes. I jinxed him. Oh my God. He failed. He rolled a 2. Bigelow hangs on to the lead. Okay. I'll show you where we're at. So, Mears fails to take the lead. He should have breezed by him. He messed up going into the corner or something, went too wide, he couldn't get around him. Okay, we don't do this pit crew event because we had the pit crew event up here, so that nullifies this one, and we jump down to green. So we got to check to see if we're going to have green flag racing. So we roll. The green flag is 6-12. We make a note. We'll see if we have 6-12, 7. Yes. So we're going to do green flag event. So it's the adjacent cars to the leader, that's Bigelow, and 1 random. Okay. First guy is Simon. The next guy to the right is Al Unser. It's a shot at him. Below him, Chris Aloff. To the left, Dallenbach. And then we have a random is 12. Highest rated guy. Krisloff's already out. Bettenhausen's a 2. Simon's a 4. Walther's a 5. So it's Walther. He can't challenge him. Huckle. Okay. So here we go. We're going against Bigelow. Bigelow against Simon. Bigelow's a 7. Simon's a 4. So he's a -3. -3 is 10-12. All he's trying to do is get his lap back. He gets 7. Failed. Okay. He failed. Al Unser is a 9. Bigelow's a 7. Al Unser's a +2. And a +2 is 5-12. So Al Unser's trying to make late race pickup. He gets a 7. He passes. So right now, Al Unser's the new leader. Unser's a 9. He's going against Krisloff. He's a 10. Krisloff's +1. Makes him a 6-12. Krisloff rolls. He gets a 9. Krisloff passes Unser. He's the new leader. Dallenbach, he's a 10. Krisloff's a 10. It's a 0. Makes it 7-12. Here we go. It's a 7. Dallenbach takes the lead. And Huckle, he's a 4. Against Dallenbach's a 10. -6. Huckle got lapped. Cliff goes a lap down. And we come. Let's see. He's -6. Fail. Lapped. And Dallenbach's the new leader. Okay, we get the final challenge. Jason Carr's not lapped with the highest race rating. For Dallenbach, Foyt's been lapped To the right, Bigelow, he's a 7. Mears is an 11. Mears is the guy challenging him. So here comes Mears one last time. All right. Mears is a +1. Gives him 6 to 12. Here he comes. Rick Mears on the last lap. It is 8. He passed him. Mears makes the final lap. Pass. For the checkered flag. All right. Woo. Okay. So Mears passes and he wins the race. Well, that's the finale of the race, but now we have to go through and get all the other positions in the race. Okay, so Mears wins. So he's the first place car. The guy that he challenged that lost was Dallenbach. So Wally Dallenbach comes in second. So he beats him coming to the checker. Okay. Dallenbach was here. Anybody that was eligible to challenge on that last one gets put in. So with the highest rating, Bagley was a 6, Bigelow was a 7, Foyt was lapped. So those are the only other 2 cars. So it goes Bigelow and it goes Bagley. All right, so that's the next position. Okay, now we start on the So I'm going to put a marker here for Mears because this is where he was at, so I don't mess this up. We go. Drivers in the same groove as the race winner, clockwise from the 6 o'clock square, not including lap drivers. So we're in this middle square. So now we're looking for the highest ranked guys, starting here, 4, 8, 2, 6, 9. So Al Unser will be next. Come around 6 o'clock. The 8, that's going to be Larry Dixon. He wasn't lapped. Okay. The next guy, he's lapped, is Bettenhausen. Wow, he got up in there. All right, then we go to this group next. Okay, so the next group is this group using the normal priority orders. We got a 10 and a 10. He's at the 12 o'clock. John Cock, followed by Rutherford. And now we go to the outside edge from these guys, and we work our way around any car that's not lapped. So he's a 10. I don't think there's going to be anybody higher than him. So it goes Sneva and then Krisaloff. And then we go a 9 that's not lapped is Bobby Olivero. And then from there, the not lapped cars, there's only one left, Jerry Carl. So that gets us to the lapped vehicles. Okay, single green on the same, this one. So we got a 4 and a 6. Bobby Unser will come in ahead here. So Unser comes in, followed by Cliff Huckle. Right, and then we go to this outside edge. He's a 5, he's a 9, so Foyt comes in next. Foyt, he's a yellow lap, so he's not going to be there. Then we go 4, so that'll be Kinzer, and then Dick Simon, followed by Spike Gelhausen. And then the last, oh crap, my My thing went under there. And then I got Salt Walther. All right. And then the 2 guys that went out. So that's my order. I'll go to the spreadsheet. I'm going to enter all these guys in. And then I'll show you the spreadsheet and what everything looks like on it. And then that'll wrap us up. Okay. So this is the spreadsheet I've been working on. We have a couple things. This is the 1978 U.S. Open Wheel. This was race 1 Phoenix. So I'll build a tab for each race because the mileage are different. Because, like I said, with the points, the way they did them, and I'll show you here in the data. This is how they assign points. So 500-mile race, 400-mile, 300, 250, 200, 150, 100. So that's how they assign the points. So I have all those in there. I came in with my tracks, my distance, so I know what all the mileage is. So I did all my research already. So here on race 1, this is the order of finish. It was Rick Mears, Wally Dallenbach second, Tom Bigelow, Tom Bagley, Al Unser, Larry Dixon, Bettenhausen came in 7th. Gordon Johncock, Johnny Rutherford, Tom Sneva made the top 10. Like I said, there was 22 cars. Danny Ongaius and Roger McCluskey did not finish the race. Lap leaders, Rick Mears, and he had the most laps led. Really followed by Wally Dallenbach. And then Tom Bigelow, Chris Loff, John Cock, Foyt, and Cliff Huckle actually got in there. So we had 11 lead changes with 7 different drivers. Car 7, Rick Mears had the most laps led. We had 2 cautions, which equated to 9 laps, caution laps. The pole was Danny Ongaius at 144.721, but the winner's average speed was 133 because of the 2 cautions. And those were the factors that come into doing that math. So that's how the race ended. I think one of the things that Greg had on his sheet that I'll probably add now that I can collect my data. This was the first race, so I needed to do a couple things. Is I can add the standings over here so that we can see who's leading everything. And then a season total here. So the first 22 drivers, Danny Ongaius has the pole. Rick Mears got the win, and you can see the points for this race. Now, this will change in race number 2 if we have different, and then the total points out here. So everything is sorted. So we're all set now to go to the next race, and we'll start compiling, for the next one. I'll probably run a couple races without doing the video, but the race I want to get to next will be Indianapolis for the 500. So I want to show, we'll see where everybody's at. Every race, I'm going to go in and see who the actual drivers were and the number of drivers. That's how I'm going to have my field, and then I'll set up and run the race. So this is pretty cool. I'm not sure if I was going to like it or not, but I really do. It's a quick game. Really, video, and, we always say this, it takes us longer when we shoot a video than it does to actually run a race. But this was cool. I like this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. And as always, if I made a mistake, shoot me that comment. I know people that watch the channel aren't bashful about that, and I don't mind. It helps us all learn how to play the game. So I'm looking forward to the next time that we come back and run a race. I'm not going to show you 18 videos here, but I am going to pick and choose a couple, and we'll get down. If things get tight for the championship, we'll show that too, see how it works out. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Everybody have a good one.